introduce my good friend Donovin Darius. Donovin was drafted by the local Jacksonville Jaguars, 25th overall in the 1998 NFL Draft. He's bringing the love back to Jacksonville and helping make our community better. Played in 188 games with almost 500 tackles. And
can you guys hear me?
There we go.
There he is.
What's up, dude? Sorry. It's
we got to start the new year with a bang, right?
I gave more of your bio during the period, so it's.
I know. I heard. I was wondering who this guy you was talking about.
It's like he's amazing.
1998, dude. Time flies.
Yeah, time does fly, man. I can recall like it was yesterday. One of the things, one of the things I suggest to a lot of these guys, especially guys that play nowadays, with the usage of these phones and cameras, I was always a big video guy, so I would always record stuff. Because, if you want something important, man, your memory comes and goes. So I actually remember I recorded so much stuff. I recorded, my first time on the field. I recorded that 1999 season, like a whole diary of before every game, halftime of every game. That year we went to the championship.
Right.
So it was a long time ago. But the great thing about it, man, I got these videos that at any time I could pull it up and kind of almost relive the moment. So that helps.
Well, you saw the 99 divisional championship Jaguars team. So, one of the two, I think, divisional championships they went to, the highest of their success. But you also saw 2001, 2003, which were the 5-6 win lean years. What's going through a player's mind right now as they enter their last game?
Wow.
And it's been a tough season.
Well, that's a great question. And what makes the NFL so difficult, especially right now, you understand you got 16 games. But usually around the 12th game, the fate of your future as it pertains to the postseason. And so, of course, you're going out there and you're trying to put your standard on the line. You're trying to get better every week. But the end of all is that you want to win a championship. You want to go to postseason. That's why you practice during the off season. That's why you go to preseason, because you want to win a championship. Right. And so in the mind of a guy, and I've been there, you get to the month of December, you're out there, it's like the big insignificant games. Teams are rallying for draft picks, and they actually want you to lose. They may want you to lose, but they're not going to say it.
Right.
You're out there, the guys on the team, you can actually see, I'll be honest with you, you'll know that there are guys that have give up written all over. Right. They have the January plans already in place, and they're just out there going through the motions. And, I'm grateful that I wasn't like that, but the temptation, what comes through your mind is, why are we here? But you always have to go back to this. And the thing that kind of kept me a little bit was the fact that I had to remember that the eye in the sky don't lie. That means that film that you put out there, everybody in the league, all your future employers, your peers, everybody will see the standards you put on the field. So where emotionally, you may not feel like going out there doing it because it doesn't have any significance. You understand that it is your job, and you have to still play to your standard.
And you hear about it, because of the NFL drafting, especially now that there's really no difference in the money. With the new CBA, the money between the first pick and the 10th pick is a lot tighter than it used to be. There's not that funny money. But what is the pressure of it? Do you guys hear, man, if we lose this game, we'll move up a spot? Is that stuff?
No, not really, because I think what happens is that as a player, and see, I spent 8 years as a player rep and 4 years as the vice president with the union. You understand that there is kind of a battle within a battle, and it is what it is. Just like you have employees, employers, but the battle for players is usually sometimes players versus management. And with that being said, is that you want to do everything you can to enhance your career because you want to have longevity. The average career in the NFL is 3 years.
Right.
And so even though you accomplish great things on the field, does not always reflect in your longevity in the NFL. For example, you make a franchise tag or you make a Pro Bowl, that doesn't mean that that's going to guarantee you 3 or 4 more years. So there's a lot of things that happen that really don't have anything to do with you. You're not the direct benefit of that.
The NBA ultimately implemented a lottery for that very reason, and if the NFL got to the point where it needed a lottery, we'd have a serious problem.
Yeah, and that's what happens. You have this situation now where a guy's going out, the team's success or failure that year gives them a greater advantage the next year.
Right.
Well, from a player, I'm not thinking about that because I know when I go out here, when people look at me, if the talk about the performance of this day is that we need to lose, so we can get a high pick. That means that, guess what? As an individual and professional, I'm not doing something right because I'm considered in the loser bracket of getting a benefit. It's kind of like everybody getting a trophy in Pop Warner Sports.
Right.
You didn't earn a trophy.
Right.
Why are you getting a trophy?
When you're competing for one of 2,000 jobs, like you said, the eye in the sky doesn't lie anyway, and that tape will come back to haunt you.
Exactly. So the best thing you could ever do is you go out there and you play and you perform. There's about 60-some plays a game. You go out there and you put it out there. It's your standard. And you let everything else take care of itself, and it will. And if you get a first-round draft choice, hey, fine. You get an early one, hey, you're like, hey, as a player, I hope he can come in and contribute, but that doesn't have anything to do with me unless you're the guy who's coming in to replace.
Well, Donovan, talk about what you're doing with the foundation. It's fantastic stuff, and we talked about it for a while yesterday. I mean, from what you're doing with kids to what you're doing with some of the guys coming out of the league, it's fantastic.
Sure. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the for the platform to talk, man. Just a little brief history. When I was back here playing in Jacksonville, I used to always have these life skill football camps that I did at different areas of schools throughout the city. And the purpose of those was I wanted to allow the community and the actual high school guys to understand that the community surrounds them. They're interested into their success by the way that they wanted to give them some scholarships, funding, network, treasure, whatever it was. So I put on these camps, had Jaguar players coaching, had life skills seminars for the athletes as well as for the parents. And because I was playing, that was all I could do once a year because I had to focus on being a professional football player. But now that I moved back, it had always been on my heart to create my foundation. And what my foundation does, and so we officially got everything established in 2011 when I moved back in August. What my foundation does, it works with youth from the ages of 8 to 18 on three main areas. One is measurable academic success. Two is personal and character development. And three is healthier lifestyles. And so every program that we do throughout a given calendar year will be geared towards those areas. And so we're initially going to be starting off with a 2020 group, a kind of focus group to follow them from middle school all the way up to college and give them everything deep into their life with them, their parents, everything so that we can ensure their success by giving them the proper resources. And then there'll be several other programs that we'll do throughout the year where they're open to the public. Similar like the one we had at the Jaguar Stadium where we opened it up to the first 100 youth, 8 to 12, to come out and participate and have a tour of the stadium, have a combine clinic with myself. We just went out. We had a great, great time. And so that's one of the things we're going to do with the foundation. The other component is something that I lived through is a program I call Transitions. And the purpose of this transition is to help guys transition from the NFL or professional sports back to regular life. We call it regular society or regular people. And so there is an emotional transition with that. There is a psychological, a physical, a mental, a financial, and a spiritual transition to life, similar to that of like the military. When you go from professional sports, the discipline, time schedule of that, to back to society. Well, 70% of guys in the NFL come out after 3 years. They're broke, bankrupt, divorced, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So what this program is aimed to do, gear free for the players, the ones that come involved, and I'm starting it in Jacksonville, is to help guys transition them and their wives and their children. And there is no cost to them, and all I ask them to do is come back and help when we work these camps and we do these different clinics, these athletic clinics and back. So that way, as we spoke yesterday, it's always cyclical. And so that's what we're doing with the foundation. We're going to be posting that up, and we're going to be out there to come in the studio. And like you said, we'll just kind of lay out everything and on the websites. And so that's what we're doing foundation-wise. The mentality is this, man, is that we've been blessed with a lot. Okay, all of us have destiny and greatness on the inside of us. It's like our future is not in front of us; it's trapped inside of us. And so, just like a seed, that seed has a big old forest inside of it, but it got to be planted in the right environment. It has to be watered, it has to be nurtured. And so if we can do that with these young men and young women that's going to be in the foundation that come through these programs, it gives us a tremendous opportunity to make an impact, and so we can do that on the foundation part. And then on the other side, what I did in California and what I was known for my training is that I developed a team where we're going to be able to do exactly that. We'll be able to train these athletes, give them, of course, the proper, technique, fundamental, speed, agility, the whole holistic approach, to development. Every sport, all the way up to all the professionals. And like I said, my team, they've done it. I got guys, Olympic champions and everything. We don't have time to miss with these kids or with these athletes. We don't have time. And so I consider my whole brand, if you will, is kind of like a modern-day Boy Scout. When you think of Boy Scout, they do a lot of things with character and everything, and they really pour into them. And when they get older, you have these individuals, boys and or girls, walking into society. And so that's what my focus is. While you're in the league, it's a certain fraternity. Okay, the resources are there. You're kind of under the protection, if you will, of the shield. But you're playing with limited time, limited access to do development. I truly believe the longer you stay in the league, the harder it is to transition. Because while you're in the NFL or profession, there's not a lot of personal development going on because you're always on the timeline and schedule of the NFL. And so when you get done, what do you do with your time? What do you do with your passion? I'll give you an example. One of the hardest things for me when I got done was to go work out. So I'm like, well, Donovin, you work out all the time. Exactly. But when I went to work out, I was working out with a purpose. I was squatting. Why? Because I wanted to be able to step. I wanted to be able to make contact and hit Jerome Bettis in his mouth.
And you did. And you did.
I did power cleans because I wanted to be powerful. And I ran bleachers because I wanted to basically make sure my first step. That's what I did. That's why I did it. It had a reason. But now when I go away, what am I doing? Okay, why should I get on that cardio machine? Well, why should I lift weights? How many sets am I doing? Why should I do it? Now, I was an exercise science major. But again, the focus and the motivation of what I did had to shift. And so it's the same thing when guys get out the league. They have to understand now, how do I take the attributes that I have, the hard work, the discipline, the accountability, the leadership, how do I take that and transition into my next area of life, which I say college sports and NFL sports is only an experience, but it's what you do after that that becomes your career. So what we want to do and help them shape that is basically give them some ideals, help them transition for one, and all those other areas, but then also give them some ideas by doing some assessments and to kind of let them see. The number one question they ask them is an identity question. Who are you?
Right.
And once you understand your individual uniqueness and how you're made up, then that helps give you direction of where you need to go. Transition out.
Let me take a break, and I'll come back with you after the break.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, man. Talking about that shield, and that shield isn't impenetrable. There's a lot more that gets by that shield these days, and I commend you for helping to make that shield a little stronger.
Well, and I appreciate it. I guess this is the NFL for me was a platform that I was given to do a lot of good with, especially now that I'm done. And so, because of that, we left off in the last segment. I wanted to kind of share, the other great thing that I'm excited about when I came back here was I established something. It's the Donovin Darius Next Level Training and Performance Academy. And the whole focus, again, with that, even with parents, is, to help their athletes achieve their highest potential on and off the field. See, a lot of programs focus just on the field. But we understand this. If you focus on that character, if you focus on the character and understanding and truly defining what commitment, humility, effort, faith, hard work, accountability, I don't care where you go, whether your child goes to the boardroom, he goes to the football field, he goes to the tennis court, it doesn't matter. He's taking or she's taking themselves with them wherever they go. And so that's what this training performance company, does, as it's specific training for all different sports and all ages from 8 to 18. And so the great part about it now, and that's why I love the whole New Year thing, is for parents and teachers, from school, teachers, students, parents, and athletes, we can all do it together and create a great culture.
Awesome, dude. Well, I tell you what, in a couple of weeks, I want to have you in studio when you're back in Jacksonville. Okay. And I love what you do, man. I remember, and we're the exact same age, but I remember, playing Madden with you as a kid. You were one of my favorites and still are.
You didn't cut me, did you?
No, not at all. You're still on the team. And